trip to Mars is like, what, 6 months? Is that what the idea is?
Yeah, it's about 6 months.
But eventually you could transform Mars into an Earth-like planet. How would you do that? You'd warm it up.
There was once a time when visiting Mars was limited to science fiction, but thanks to technological advancements, the first human may be walking on Mars within the next few years, to be conveyed by SpaceX Starship. SpaceX's Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy booster, collectively known as Starship, represents a fully reusable transportation system designed to deliver personnel and cargo to Earth orbit, the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Upon completion, the Starship will be the world's most powerful launch vehicle, capable of carrying up to 100 people to Mars. Let's imagine maybe then you receive a call that volunteers are needed on Mars, and it's time to embark on the long trip. To begin with, you will travel to the SpaceX launch site. You will also meet with other potential crew members, though Musk mentioned these passengers could be as many as 200. So better start getting acquainted to others from here, because you will all be crammed inside that rocket together. There's not going to be anything like personal space. You're going to be spending a lot of time with this individual. Unlike in an airplane, you might watch a film, read a book, or sleep, or even stay glued to your phone, Snapchatting and tweeting. Here, you cannot keep doing that for 6 months, so you need to form friendships right away, as human relationships are necessary to stay healthy psychologically, and there is no way off this flight midway if you find someone you don't get along with, so you've got to be mentally in for it. SpaceX has not revealed what the final interior design of this habitation will look like, but there are some preliminary ideas. So let's explore how life aboard the spaceship would be like. Interior design. The Super Heavy booster stage is 68 meters long and powered by 33 Raptor engines. This stage will either return to the launch site or land on a floating platform off the coast through controlled re-entry and landing. On re-entry, the stage is guided by 4 massive actuated grid fins designed to regulate the stage's descent and catch it in mid-air by the launch tower's pair of mechanical arms. The upper stage of the Starship, built from stainless steel, is 50 meters long and 9 meters wide. This stage is powered by 3 conventional Raptor engines and 3 fixed vacuum-optimized Raptor engines. The Starship has a dry mass of 85 tons and a propellant capacity of 1,200 tons. The ascent payload capacity is 150 tons to low Earth orbits, and the return payload capacity is 50 tons. One thing's sure though, Starship is a massive rocket. The diameter of the rocket alone is 30 feet, that's more than the width of an average urban mansion. This payload volume has been configured for both crew and cargo. There's plenty of room for cargo and passengers in there, on their journey to Mars. The crew and cargo compartment is certainly roomy enough, even with a considerable amount of space taken up by life support systems, insulation and shielding, but not exactly the peak of comfort. The crew configuration of Starship includes 40 private cabins, large common areas, centralized storage, solar storm shelters, and a viewing gallery. Since we have an idea of the total mass payload, we must also be conscious of the individual mass. Besides, if there are too many people on board with limited personal space, there is a limit to the length of duration they can stay together before the crew members begin to freak out. And if there are just a few, they will easily get tired of each other fast. Technically, scientists agree that the ideal number should be 10, but Elon Musk dreams of sending 100. How possible can that be? The journey. A place where everyone will be strapped in their chair for launch and landing. And if there is any medical emergency on board, you will not get any proper treatment until you get to the other side. Landing on Mars. The Starship will enter the Martian atmosphere at 7.5 kilometers per second and decelerate aerodynamically. The vehicle's heat shield is meant to withstand multiple entries, but considering how hot the vehicle is coming into Mars's atmosphere, we expect to see some ablation of the heat shield at work. Get ready for a communication problem. As the Starship journeys into deep space, unlike ISS, which orbits the lower Earth, crew members have access to the internet and can connect to Earth in real time. The lag in communication will grow longer and longer. It can take about 10 minutes to send a signal through to Earth and another 10 minutes to get feedback. It is going to feel lonely out there. Life aboard the spacecraft. During your stay on board Starship, you and every other crew member have to continue living in an environment that is very different from what you have here on Earth. You still need to keep clean, eat, drink, keep fit, and sleep, but differently. The conditions of weightlessness in space compel you to adapt these activities. Here, everything is weightless. This is because in space, there is no weight pulling things downwards like on Earth. Everything does not fall to the ground, but floats. Since everything floats, even water and toothpaste floats. As regards to your hygiene, you're going to be using an edible toothpaste, which you can swallow after brushing, and then clean your mouth with a wet wipe. You must also brush with your mouth as closed as possible to prevent the toothpaste from floating out. Showers will not likely be present. You've got to use a wet wipe to clean up. So if everything floats in space, then how do you go to the toilet? You've got to strap yourself in to prevent floating off. Instead of a flush toilet, a suction tube transports waste away in an airstream down a hole. The solid gets compressed and stored for disposal later. Food won't be what you're used to on Earth. Since weightlessness affects everything, there won't be cooking here. You will all be prepared from here and specially treated so that they can last a long time and must be low in mass. The ISS does not even have a fridge, so the type of food you eat here is what can be preserved for months, meaning vacuum seals, rehydratable, and thermostabilized food will be the order of the day. There are specific foods everyone must also consume to mitigate the adverse effects of adaptation to the space environment. You will not be able to sprinkle salt or pepper on your food as the low gravity will send them flying into the air. Well, as for water, the only way to have enough water for 100 people into Mars is to have an excellent recycling system. So anything that comes from you will likely be siphoned off, recycled, and served back to you. It's best not to think about it. Then again, it's not that different from what happens here on Earth. All the water you drink has been through the systems of many other living things multiple times before being filtered and transformed into that portable table water you purchase at the grocery store. Don't worry much about that for now. Just in a way, nutrition is essential for survival. Exercise plays an important role in maintaining the health of astronauts in space. In a gravity-free space, the absence of weight leads to health problems such as bone and muscle loss. Weightlessness also makes it harder to do even small tasks such as manipulating a laptop. There will be facilities and critical equipment for cardiovascular maintenance to maintain body mass and bone density. You are compelled to exercise at least 2 hours per day to keep in good shape. And when it's time to sleep, it won't be your usual bed. You'll be strapped in a sitting position to sleep. Do you think you can get used to all of this? Going on the trip to Mars is definitely a lifetime adventure, but you will not come back the same. You might be lucky to survive the entire trip, but you will no longer be the same. Why? For so many reasons. Scientists stated there will be changes in body, height, and DNA in ways we do not understand. Spending time in space changes you, perhaps because of the radiation. However, upon arrival on Earth, most of these changes revert to normal in less than 6 months. Will you still love to go on the trip? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section.